Welcome to your awakening. Please take calm as your reality is adjusted.
Welcome back again, folks. Gold morning, global digital gulag. Hopefully you've realised now it is a global digital gulag. If you hadn't noticed, maybe it snuck up on you. We might talk about some of the stuff like that as we go this evening. Sorry, I'm still catching my breath because I was rushing to get coffee before we started. So I thought, I can't go through the whole show without having fucking coffee to drink. I'll be struggling. So, yeah, a few moments.
I can't add the chat anymore to the thingy, to the screen.
Have they changed it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no selection button
no
at the top
anymore. No.
Yeah, they've taken
Must be
it
another paid function now. Or they
I've
removed it. I don't know.
I've not received any link saying or any info saying that. There was nothing when I logged in today.
No.
Normally, whenever they've done a change, they give you a little info.
Yeah, they
blurb,
love to tell you everything. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Nope. Has it been moved?
Yeah, I'm looking, but I cannot.
I'll leave you to look through.
Don't get distracted.
I had a quick flick through. I couldn't see anything anyway.
No.
But, well, hopefully they haven't removed it completely. And if they have, we'll have to start just screen sharing. It just means we won't be able to have all of the chat rooms in one go.
Can they still do this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I used to do it where I would do a pop-out YouTube chat and then share that window as a screen share.
Well, it's useful because people are on different channels as well, so they can see
them
what's
all
going on in all the
place.
chats. Yeah.
That's what I like about the fact that it does that. But possibly, maybe they've had people abusing it in some manner, so they've decided to shut it down for now or something.
I don't know.
Considering some of the stuff that's been happening recently, it wouldn't surprise me. They might have got a slap on the wrist from somebody or a warning about stuff being included in the chat boxes that we're then displaying on a screen. Yeah. Some of the platforms might not appreciate what some people have to say in the chat. Welcome to the global digital gulag.
That's not going to change, though, Cookie.
No, exactly. Yeah. Get your ticket as you come in because your number's going to get called sooner or later. Yeah. Considering the UK is going through, at the last report anyway, 12,000 people last year were arrested for posting hurty words online or some kind of, online infraction. Might have been to do with imagery even there, not just words necessarily, but so that means that if they keep going the way they're going, they're going to be cycling through all of us eventually. Because to keep up those kind of numbers with our population demographics, that means, more than likely, if you're somebody who likes going and watching podcasts or live streams and you chat in the chat box, eventually you're probably going to hit one of their requirements that means they can come along and give you a slap on the wrist for some stupid, fucked up reason,
Yeah.
You used the wrong word on the wrong day, therefore, you got to pay a fine. I will mention some of that.
That's for different reasons, though, Rob. You know it. Dirty
you waited for that? Oh, the pink fluffy ones, no doubt.
Yeah.
And he's got the miniature ones for his cats as well. I'll come back to the chat room, but before I forget, just to mention of that, remind me, and I will mention it again later as we go in because it's part of what I wanted to talk about. I listened to a few people recently talking about some of the seemingly crazy ridiculously petty fines that are being dished out by some of the local councils here in the UK at the moment. One I heard mentioned was an old guy who was sat on a park bench and a leaf blew into his mouth, so he spat it out on the floor, because it's just fucking leaf detritus. And 2 fucking council workers came along and issued him a fine for littering. Now, this is supposed. I question whether some of these stories are even true, because I'm speculating that some of this might be deliberate for other reasons. But my point in just mentioning it is, them removing the chat box could be for similar reasons along these lines. There's a lot going on at the moment where they're really pushing hard on the censorship. And it's not just about posting comments online. Levels of censorship are going to be pushed into all aspects of life. So trying to discourage you from being in public areas, they would rather you stay home and stay in your pod, and do everything via the online connection so they can monitor everything you're doing. They don't really want you gathering in public spaces. And if you do, they're taking every opportunity to try and extract some kind of payment out of you, some kind of disguised tax. Yeah, but anyway, we'll come back to that subject as we go.
They'll have a record on you. That's what they want.
That's part of it, I think. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's about making everybody a criminal. But within the system, the way they've now structured it, there is the possibility for you to be criminalized for something. So we're seriously over the line of that Kafka-esque environment of the trial, where you can be arrested and prosecuted in some manner, fined. I think that's one of the primary drives of this. Is it's just money acquisition. Yeah,
you can be guilty fined right now instead of innocent.
Yeah, you are considered guilty, and you have to prove that you're innocent.
Innocent. Yeah, they reversed that one.
Yeah. It's a Napoleonic principle that they've been trying to put in for a long time. And even though they haven't officially changed British law in that sense, they brought in these kind of legislations that allow them to play this kind of game. Yeah, you are, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. Yeah. But there you go. Hopefully, I will try, as I usually do, to explain why the subtitle this week, and to give you an idea of what was going through my head while I come up with this idea in the first fucking place. And no, it's not about your penis. It's not about your boobs.
Nope.
When the question is, how big is it? Yeah, that's the subtitle. It's a question.
Yeah. How big is it?
How big is it? And I like the little clip you had with the guys sort of looking around the box, as if to say, how big is this box? Yeah, but the idea in my head was that by asking a question, hopefully I can encourage people to give a bit more thought to these kind of considerations. But to begin with, to catch your attention almost, yes, I'm just playing a little game just to try and make it a bit more interesting, is to present it in a kind of Socratic riddle. So I'm just going to ask you some questions. I'll give you some clues to try and give you a hint about what it is I'm referring to. How big is it? It's not your penis, it's not your boobs, and it's not Trump. That was Pete's first suggestion when I told him when we first logged on. He said, no, I'm not talking about Trump. This is something completely different.
Yeah. What about Bigly, though? How bigly is it?
Yeah. Let's have a quick roll through the chat and say hello to everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. It has been a crazy week. I will talk about a few of the things, but I want to try and impress this theme on people and get you thinking a bit more. I will also ask now, so that people are thinking about it in advance. This is something that just sort of came up in conversation. I think Steve's in the chat. Hello, Steve, if you're in the chat. I was listening to Steve's show, the mystery show, last Thursday, and we were chatting in the chat box like we usually do. Well, I do anyway. I know not everybody does. And just as the conversation was going, I was chatting with Mr. Smith, and the the conversation was about the True Stream Media channel, for people who know True Stream Media. And I just happened to mention, because I think it's worth mentioning, the documentary they released a few years ago called The Minds of Men. I would highly recommend everyone watch that. If you've got the time, I know it's a little bit of a long documentary, so maybe you want to watch it in chunks or whatever, but it's worth making the effort because it is very informative. There's a hell of a lot of information in there. There's a hell of a lot of, how can I put it? Eye-opening, mind-opening reality that they present to the viewer to help you wrap your head around the fact that it is not just crazy speculation. It is not just conspiracy theory, that governments around the world have been actively trying to fuck with you psychologically for a long time, for many, many decades. It's not just recently when they invented the internet. You know, mind manipulation and psychological operations go back a long way, and they cover the certainly the last 100 years at least, you know, of in-depth investigation into a lot of the various projects that have been carried out by different governments to develop mind manipulation techniques. As a simple reference example that I think most people would know about when you mention it is MK Ultra. And most people now know that there was a project that was carried out called MK Ultra, and it was all about them messing with people's heads to try and figure out how to fuck with people's heads. So this is a reality. This is not some crazy conspiracy theory speculation. So I highly recommend this as a documentary. If you've never seen it, give it the time. Try and work your way through it, because it's definitely worth your time. But it had me thinking after I recommended it in Steve's chat. I thought, well, what other similar things are there? And I thought, well, I'll just ask at the start of the show tonight if you know of a documentary or a TV series or a particular movie or a book or a magazine, whatever the fuck it is, whatever form of media it is, doesn't really matter. But if you know of something that you feel was very relevant and informative and helpful for you, recommend it so that other people can see it. And I thought, even though we've sort of done this thing before in the past, where especially when it comes to entertainment movies, I know I've spent quite a lot of time listing a whole load of movies that I know contain subject matter that's similar to what we often cover and talk about. But I thought it's worth doing it as well in the sense of like actual documentaries and research, you know. I mean, it can be a fantasy fiction story if you want, as long as it carries information that you think is worth people's time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd say things like Lord of the Rings, you know, read the Lord of the Rings books if you want something worthwhile to read. But mainly I was thinking along the lines of documentaries about these kind of subjects. Minds of Men is a brilliant documentary about all the various, well, maybe not all, but certainly a lot of the major projects that have been carried out by governments over the decades into how to fuck with our heads. So if you want to be able to sort of learn about that subject so you can relate to other people with good information, you know, not just crazy speculation that they'll then laugh at you about, you can go, oh no, go and reference this information. Like Delgado, one of the guys who started all the research into neural implantation, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is stuff that is certainly relevant today as it was when they were first doing it. So highly recommended. Yeah, have a think about it while we're doing our usual thing. I'll say hello to everyone in the chat. Rick, good evening, mate. You were first in the chat tonight. Well done. I'll give a shout out to James. He's pseudo first in the chat like he usually is. He's there in spirit. He's there in essence. So we'll say hello to him as well. Mascara Snake, good evening, mate. I'm reading these on StreamYard, so it's mixing the different chat rooms together, remember. So if you don't see someone that I mentioned in your chat, that's probably just because they're in the chat on a different platform. And Health Freedom UK, good evening, Rob. You're welcome to come and join in if you want to.
You.
Genuinely concerned, good evening, mate. Thanks for joining in. Made in UK, good evening. You've not got much battery left, okay, we'll try and get on with it as soon as I've finished doing my usual waffling. Nick's good evening, right? And Steve, hello, mate. Thanks for the show on Thursday. I'm scrolling. No jab here, good evening. Definitely no jabs around here, preferably. Angry North, good evening, mate. Good to see you. Glad you made it. Keep scrolling. Kitty, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Glad you made it. Paul O'Neill, good evening. It's not called the web for nothing. No, exactly right. It is certainly, I think they had a very good idea of what we would be doing with it when they gave it to us. You know, I don't think it was accidental, like some people like to think. But so South, good evening. I hope you're well. Good to see you. Yeah, you're still slipping in this loony world. It's definitely a fucking loony world at the moment. It's going to get more and more loony. Jen, good evening. Living the dream. Good to see you. Glad you made it. Rob's not the only one that does shows. we're all at it. Ehrlich, good evening, mate. Glad you made it. I'm scrolling. If I miss you out, I'm sorry. I'm trying to scroll, but not too quick, obviously, because otherwise I do get too far down the chat too quickly. Hello to all the lurkers and the time travelers. Sonia, good evening. Yeah, the cosmic locker room. Yeah, definitely. I try to take a little moment to form our own little safe space where it's definitely not safe. If anything, you become more of a target when you start being interested in these kind of subjects. You know, Rich T, good evening, mate. It's a funny thing that some people like to talk about how, you know, oh, you don't want to be involved in what's going on. You're not part of society because you're one of them crazy conspiracy theories. So, mate, I give more of a shit about society than you fucking do because you can't be arsed. You can't be arsed learning about this information. You just want to go along with whatever's fucking happening because you're a conformist, for fuck's sake.
Work and pay my rent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You'll have no fucking house to live in if you keep allowing all this shit to happen. You won't have to worry about rent then, will you, you fucking dozy fucker? Irish, good evening, mate.
Aye.
Good to see you.
It's Suzanne.
Is it Suzanne? Okay. Hi,
Yeah,
Suzanne.
but you'll read it in a minute.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to not scroll too quick here. Lopsum, good evening, mate. Good to see you. And oh, right, cool. Yeah, I've reached the latest chat so far. Good. Right, okay, cool. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, how big is it? Has anybody made any guesses yet about what we're talking about? I haven't seen anything yet, but
no, 33.
It could be sexual, but I don't mean it that way. Yeah, but I wasn't intending it as like, oh yeah, it's how big is your dick? How big are your boobs? No, that's not what I'm talking about. But the size of this thing is important and relevant, and it does make a massive difference. No pun intended, but yeah, it definitely makes a massive difference. Mahatma Malevolence, good evening, mate. Recommended The Impact of Science on Society by Bertrand Russell and Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon by Dave McGowan. Cool, there you go.
I don't know the second one.
No, I don't think I've heard of the second one either.
Yeah.
Is that the one where he's covering the hieroglyphs and stuff like that in the Grand Canyon? That's all I'm thinking.
No, I think it's a cave that they're trying to find, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, I'm Not sure. I
Roscoe,
think it's
good
a
evening, Roscoe. The Web by the Unabomber.
Laurel Canyon.
LSD and the yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah. I would Laurel Canyon, right? Yes, of course, right. I get you. Yeah, weird scenes inside Laurel Canyon, right? Yeah.
No, I think that's a separate thing. Laurel Canyon.
Oh, well, maybe. MK Ultra sub project number 58. There you go. Right.
Okay.
David, good evening. Glad you made it. I'd recommend in general Loose Change. If you can get the second version, the re-release when they went through and corrected some of the stuff and added more info in and whatever as more information come out. And
where did the planes go?
Yeah, that one as well. What was the one? Something Deception. Oh man, the one the guy who talks about all the Jewish connections.
The Great Deception, isn't it?
Is it? I think it might
Is
be.
that like a 6-hour World War II thing?
No, this was just about 9/11.
Oh.
I know it's about 3 hours long though, I think.
The Pentagon, if you're on 9/11, and the Pentagon is one you have to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll have to dig through my old file of documentaries as well. I've got a load of stuff from years ago. Things like Orwell Rolls in His Grave. That's quite a good one that talks about journalism and the death of journalism in the late 90s, early noughties.
Enemy Within, says Nitzit.
Enemy Within is a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the one they did about...
the ego is one.
Milk Monitor becomes Prime Minister. Is that current? Yeah, is that the latest kids' book?
Is that a documentary?
Is he wearing a bikini at the time?
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. How big is the ego? Not quite, mate, but it is interrelated into the concept of the ego. You could argue that the two are sort of the same thing in a way.
Mm-hmm.
They're certainly tied together, but I'm not referring to the ego itself.
No, it's much bigger.
Yeah, definitely. Well, certainly for most people, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I know there's a few people out there whose ego is so massive.
They think it's very small, even.
Should I suggest another clue?
Yeah.
When it's light, it gets bigger. Ooh. And by light, I mean doesn't weigh much. It's lightweight. When it's lightweight, it gets bigger.
Uh-huh.
It grows.
Mm.
Oh, Blessed Exile, good evening. Talk about some of the other stuff that's going on at the moment and why my
and Roscoe,
question...
Did you say hello to Roscoe?
I did, yes.
Okay. Hi, Ross. I didn't.
Part of the reason I'm asking this question is to get people thinking about this subject, which I will explain. I won't leave it too long because I don't want to leave you like in complete suspense right up until the end of the show. I'm not that much of a torment. That's not the idea. I want you to actually spend time thinking about the concept, not just guessing what the fuck it is, No, not the George Michael thing. You gotta have cake. Oh dear, I'll have to write the parody lyrics for that eventually.
I think she's not far
used to give your milk away. Oh right, okay.
Milky Way.
Pumpy, milky.
Milky Way, huh?
Yeah.
Close. Getting there.
Yeah. It's part of it again, isn't it? It depends. Yeah. Yeah, the Milky Way. But sorry, distracting myself now thinking about the Milky Way, because that's a synchronistic connection in a way, because of the. And I know this is where it gets into that kind of Gnosticism level.
Morning,
hi, Matt. Good to see you.
Hi, Matt.
Glad you made it. It must be, what is it, really early over there or really late? 8:30, which means it's got to
in the
be
morning,
really
yeah.
early. Yeah, it's got to be very early morning.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining in. Like,
how big is the
how
universe?
big is the universe? That's
How
very,
big is the
very
universe?
close.
We're getting 2. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, another clue to sort of add on the one I've already given you. When it's heavy, it gets smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So the heavier it weighs, the smaller it gets. The lighter it weighs, the bigger it gets. And this is pretty true for every. I can't think of a single case that it isn't applicable to. Yeah, this is a universal truth for everyone's experience, and I am talking about something that's a concept, not a literal physical thing. Although it has a corresponding physical thing, I'm more referencing the concept rather than an actual physical thing. Hopefully that makes sense. Just because I see you like posting sun, star, whatever. Yeah. No, not an actual physical thing, but it is interrelated to physical reality. Helium balloon, sort of, I suppose, in a way, but no, not a balloon. Well, while you're all thinking about it, I'll mention some of the other stuff that I feel is relevant to why I wanted to bring up this subject, and also why I wanted to mention the documentary recommendations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hiya, Jerry. Yeah, you can send your answers on a postcard if you want. Give you enough time. Oh, Nixon's very, very close.
Well,
Yeah.
Matt's close too.
Sorry, what?
It's a fart.
Yeah, wizard's fart. Can you measure a wizard's fart?
Yeah, no, yeah, Dustin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I suppose in a way that is
the answer.
It is the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just using a different word. I suppose it's important, the word, because it adds context.
It's part of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it adds context to the concept. So
okay, think a little bit further then. You're almost there.
Yeah, or think from a slightly different angle. But there's been so much craziness happen over the last few weeks, certainly since the start of the new year. We know we've been talking about this on these broadcasts and on Rob's show on a Tuesday. I know he often tries to keep it a bit more light-hearted, like he doesn't like to let it get bogged down by too much of the big crazy news that's going on in the world, which is good. I'm not saying it's not, but there has been a lot of shit over just the first 2 weeks of January, so you can't blame us for already sort of diving in the deep end with some of these subjects, because we are in a year where major world-changing events are going to happen. Whether you like it or not, whether you're ready for it or not, tough shit. Get a crash helmet, get settled in your chair, get some popcorn, because some of it's going to be entertaining, but a lot of it is going to be exceedingly stressful. And possibly worse, depending on where you are and your situation,
Mm-hmm.
But this is why I feel this kind of stuff is now relevant. Like I was sort of waffling about last week, reminding people of basic foundational stuff. I'm not going to do this for the entire fucking year. Hiya, good evening. Headlight for sale. Good to see you. I'm not suggesting I'm just going to stick to this one trick pony subject matter, but I think it's important to go over some of the basics, because we are at a point where I think if people have never really given serious thought to being prepared, now this year, please, now is the time to actually do that. And I'm not saying that in a way to try and suggest that absolute catastrophe is going to happen any moment. So you should be ready to dive in a lifeboat and try and survive the catastrophe or whatever.
Well, 27 or 26 has already begun, so
Yeah. But,
it's already ticking. So yeah,
the potential for extreme catastrophe is always there. It's just the chance of it happening is variable, But you should never worry about shit like that, because if it's going to get that shitty, there's fuck all you can do about it anyway. So don't stress yourself out about that
don't
kind
panic.
of
That's
yeah, exactly. Don't panic. because you don't help yourself when you start panicking. Yeah, but spending some time giving genuine, serious consideration, not just faffing about of watching some stupid prepper guy on the TV talking about how he's got 15 million tins of spam in his basement, so he's ready for the apocalypse. No, come on, give it some serious, genuine thought. There's plenty of good information out there for you to access if you feel you want advice, or you're just looking for examples of other people that have done similar to what you're thinking of doing. There's plenty of information out there. Yeah, there's plenty of good representation of simple skills to learn, simple knowledge base ideas. Like, I know this sounds basic, and I know, I'm confident that all of you lot listening already know this kind of shit already. But simple things like how to store certain foodstuffs. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people don't know how to do basic cooking. I mean, from scratch, basic cooking, not buy it in a packet and shove it in a microwave, but how to make bread, how to make a simple cake, how to store those foodstuffs so that they're going to last for a long time, preferably. Again, I'm not suggesting that you build a bunker and fill it full of fucking tins of spam, but keeping a few weeks worth of supplies on hand is sensible. No matter what the fucking situation in the world is at the moment, yeah? It's just sensible to have a bit of stuff on hand just in case something goes wrong. Maybe there's a power cut.
I'm thinking
maybe there's no water supply. Yeah, we're already seeing that in places like Berlin. I know Berlin's a bit of a special case.
Well,
but
a
even
bit of a test case as well, yeah.
It's evident, and we're going to see it here once they start really advancing further with the data centers, because the UK is a little bit behind many of the other countries. We were behind on the leading edge of building all this kind of new infrastructure. Yeah. So as these places get built, more energy and more resources is going to get sucked into supplying them, which means we as a society are probably going to suffer a certain amount of deprivation of certain goods, certain resources. Yeah, so you might experience brownouts or blackouts occasionally. You might experience loss of water pressure or even loss of water supply at all. Yeah, just simple things like this. It's just be a Boy Scout, as they used to say. Yeah, have a little bit of stuff on hand, so you've got a bit of preparation. So if you need a day or a weekend or even a week where you're not able to get your usual supply of stuff or services, you can manage, you can survive. And in that consideration, please don't forget things like medication. Yeah, so it's one of the things that I think a lot of people either don't, they don't allow or they don't account for as much as they think they're, or as much as they actually need. They think they need less than what they actually need, if that makes sense. Yeah. But all I was trying to do with these ideas and with this one question in particular is to encourage people to think about this kind of stuff. Give it a few minutes at least. I know maybe for most people, having a few Chiantis in there, in the back of the cupboard.
Yeah, this goes best with human flesh.
Yeah. When you start barbecuing the sheep, definitely. Yeah. Just don't forget you'll need a few good knives for the butchering. That's the only thing. But yeah, the simple principles of being prepared. It's not about building a bunker and trying to fend off the entire the world, the rest of the society, the rest of the population. Because in the long run, trying to bunker in that fashion doesn't work out very well. It fosters a situation of acquisition, because the strongest will take whatever they think they need. If there's no availability, they'll just reach out and take it, as Trump has exampled. This is what I was ranting about last week. This is the example that they are returning to basic principles of force, application of force. The biggest will just take whatever the fuck they think they need or want, and just tough shit for everyone else. Yeah. And the problem with that is it creates a dog eat dog, and eventually the bigger dog wins out. Well, yeah, as somebody mentioned in the chat last week, it's not necessarily the size of the dog, is it? It's just how much they're capable of fighting, and that usually comes down to psychology and willpower, which in a way connects us back to talking about the concepts included in minds of men. Yeah, a big part of why the governments were so interested in learning how to manipulate us psychologically is because they don't want you being capable of either taking care of yourself or defending yourself or putting up any kind of resistance to the shit that they're trying to force on you. Yeah, so they want you to be compliant. They want you to be apathetic. They want you to be narcissistic and nihilistic. That serves their purpose for control systems. Yeah. So encouraging people to give a bit of thought to these kind of subjects. Like I said, I thought if I couch it as a question or a riddle, apply a little bit of that kind of Socratic principle of people tend to realize truth, for want of a better word, or knowledge. They tend to be more open to developing the knowledge for themselves when they find it for themselves. Yeah, that's how Socratic method works. You don't just give somebody the answer. You encourage them to figure out the answer for themselves by asking them questions that show them there is an answer there. You just need to see it, find it. Yeah. Oftentimes people get stuck in dogmatic perceptions or in a tunnel, a vision of for various reasons, for self-preservation and stuff like that. Like mentioned earlier, you've got to go back to work so you can earn enough money to pay the rent. That creates a kind of tunnel vision.
That's already a war zone, isn't it?
Yeah, you're deliberately excluding things that might threaten what you feel you need to achieve to get the job done. Yeah, that can be a good thing, but also a bad thing because it blocks out stuff that might help you. You just don't see it because it's outside of your tunnel.
The weird thing, or I don't know if it's weird or planned, but I think a lot of people feel like that World War III is inevitable and that we're better off for it.
Yeah, I think some people want
this shit is fucking unbearable, right? The way we're going right now.
Yeah.
People will gladly fall on their knees and capitalize and just give in.
Yeah.
Without a fight, because they have had enough of this kind of shit, and they're looking at Russia like, yeah, well, is Putin really a threat? No, it's us, right? It's the guys here that are. It's a WEF, it's a WHO, it's all those fucking NGOs, it's Bill Gates, it's blah. None of them come out of China
forces.
or not many Chinese men there or Russia men amongst those fucking clowns. So and I think people are kind of tired of it all. So
yeah, it's like having a cursed hand.
Yeah,
you get
damned
to the point
if you do, damned if you don't, right? Kind of a thing.
But you get to the point where you feel you'd be better off just cutting the hand off rather than trying to deal with the pain that it's causing you.
Yeah, it's that guy that sits in his car, right? What is he doing it for? Everybody lives like him, like on that 1 month paycheck kind of a threshold, right?
Yeah.
Everybody panics when they lose their job because everything is dependent on that fucking thing, and then your whole world crashes, right? You get a divorce, your kids fuck off, everything falls apart when only one little stone out of your little cart house or cart gets pulled out of your cart house. It all falls together. And people know it. People are always on that fucking edge, and that's why they don't want to accept our reality, right? Those people that are in those rat races, because they know that is the reality, but that means that they accept that they are like an alcoholic or like a drug addict or whatever, right? But to the system, right?
Or they start trying to persuade themselves, or they begin to believe it even,
Yeah.
that they're better off being inside that system and just conforming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
And I'm
start to
talking middle
feel that it's
class, right?
necessary. Yeah,
I'm not talking people
it
under
often
middle
is the
class. They
middle. Yeah,
already written off. They know that, you know, how to play the system, I guess, better than the middle class because they just pay those idiots.
yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. People won't fucking get upset when Putin drops a bomb on fucking parliament. I can tell you that.
Well, you see now many people have been posting saying, please come and kidnap Starmer.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
Trump, can you come and take our guy away? 'Cause he's a cunt,
Yeah,
you know?
and what's her name? Von der Leyen, and yeah.
I was just
Exactly. We know
scrolling-
where the enemies is. And I think Putin has been very clear that he's not at war with us in Europe. He's at war with
No,
the
he doesn't want to be because
W-
he thinks it's a dumb thing to do. He knows how
Yes.
much fucking catastrophe it's going to cause, you know?
Yeah. So, I don't know. I hope, there's some hope, but better prepare because Starmer's nuts.
Yeah, even if you just prepare in the sense of, and this is what I was trying to get across primarily, is it's not about preparing for the earth-ending catastrophe kind of thing.
No.
But
There's
this
no
is
comments
about
coming. No.
being prepared to live in what we would previously, a few years ago, described as a third world country.
Mhm.
I know that seems a bit of a simplification to say it that way because there's many sort of layers to that could be argued in different ways. But basically, be prepared for your country to continue descending into corruption and destabilization. Things are going to start to fall apart. You know, things are going to stop working. Services are going to stop being provided. And at the same time, the governmental systems, in every way they can, will try and extract more from you. This is why I think we're seeing these stories coming about of the councils coming up with these ridiculously petty fines for stuff. Yeah, they're desperately just trying to claw cash from the local population.
I got 2 clips.
Okay,
that plays into this perfectly. So.
Over a whole country in 3 easy steps. Step 1, ramp up the immigration. 1 million a year, 2 million a year, as much as possible. You're doing this to attract the necessary sponsors from the business and property sector. Because what happens when there's more of something? It's worth less. So the big business sector loves an inflated labor pool. It means they can pay everybody less. And all those immigrants need to live somewhere, increasing the demand for property where supply is limited. So property development firms, big property owners and leases, they can jack up the price of property and increase rents. Suddenly everything's selling for 10 times more than it should be. And whoever's opening the floodgates, these fat cats are going to figure it out and throw a lot of money at them to keep the immigration coming in. You just scored for yourself the richest sponsors in the land. Now you've got superior financial resources, greater advertising and campaigning power. Step 2, find a way to convert all of those immigrants into citizens as quickly as you can. The idea is to make voters out of them, but you want to do this fast, or the existing working class you're replacing might figure out what you're doing and try to hold you accountable. And you really don't want that because you're basically committing treason here. Use bureaucratic loopholes like fast-tracked permanent residency visas or some other bullshit. Just make them into voters and do it quickly. Step 3. Advertise yourself as the multicultural option. Make the immigrants feel like you're the party that represents them and you're the only logical choice for them. They all vote for you and voila. Within 2 to 3 years, you just imported a whole new ethnic voting bloc in the millions, which is putting you leagues ahead of the other parties. You just turned the country into a single-party state you can rule with an iron fist. No more of that annoying democracy where you actually had to have a valid idea and argue its merits. Don't worry about that anymore. You can just do whatever you want now. You can censor the internet, throw your political opponents in jail. You just took over a whole country and you did it through immigration and calling people racists.
I'll add on to, 2 things. I agree with him. 2 things is add the full Kalergi plan in the sense of by bringing in all the numbers, you are also, you're displacing the indigenous, but you're also degrading all available services and commodities.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's like inflation. You know, you're reducing
becoming the
availability. Yeah, you're reducing the availability of lots of things within your society. So you're going to degrade the standard of living of everyone. Apart from
number 2.
those who are wealthy enough to sit outside and shit, yeah?
Yeah. This is Ireland in the snow right now.
Somebody living in the bin.
Oh yeah. Hello? Hello? Are you okay? You homeless? Go to here. It's one bed for the night. Go there.
I don't know. My phone is dying.
My boss said she'll get you Uber. Go to this lady.
So yeah.
Yeah. In a way that adds into the second thing I was going to say, and this is just sort of a general.
Yep.
Oscar the Great. Yeah, this has been part of the current government sort of announcement of how they, Starmer did that little Christmas speech about the renewal for the country and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I know we only played a little bit of it because it is vomit inducing, so it's difficult to absorb what he's actually saying. But part of the remit that's come out under their official announcements is they want people to think more locally than nationally in terms of their political interest. Yeah, so they're trying to focus people on getting involved on a local level. So it makes it, it's a face-saving exercise in the sense of it makes it look like they actually give a shit about what's taking place in people's local areas. So they're encouraging you to get involved and be part of the big society of running your own society, being part of the political interactions in your neighborhood, as it were. Yeah. Hi, Gordon.
Hi, Gordon.
Gordon Freeman. Hello. And, did I see somebody else join the chat as well? Hey, Brandon, good evening. Good to see you. I thought I saw some.
Oh, yeah.
A few more joining the chat. Yeah. So they want people to focus on local rather than national.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, that enables them to step further away from the influence of the public. In other words, they want you to be so preoccupied with trying to deal with all the shit that's happening in your local 15-minute region, the LZ region and whatever, doing shit like that guy was just demonstrating. Actually, you're the one that's now responsible for taking care of people that are potentially homeless in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is just, encouraging them to go to a shelter or a hostel or something. But the point being, you're so focused dealing with the end of the shovel that you can't influence or approach what the fuck is happening with the people that are actually wielding the shovel. In other words, the national political level and the international geopolitical level is no longer your concern. Yeah, go back to shoveling your shit, peasant. Focus more on the fact that you ain't got enough available stuff in your region. Don't worry about what's happening on the national scale. We'll deal with that because you're too dumb to be involved in that. Yeah. So they're not encouraging necessarily people to get involved on a national scale unless they're very young.
No, but look, they're importing the hopeless, right? They're the have-nots. These people already have nothing.
Most of them,
so him having a bin, that's luxury already for him.
Okay? Possibly, yeah.
So don't feel kind of sorry for him, because
I didn't mean it in that way.
No, but that's what I'm thinking when I'm watching this, right? Because that guy is like, oh yeah, well, let's get him to a fucking shelter, and
Yeah.
But that's the problem. We're importing people that have nothing, have nots, so they don't care, right? They have no standard, really. So
and it creates bureaucratic jobs.
It's such a low class that you're importing.
Think of it this way as well. The more people that need taking care of, the more jobs are made possible within the bureaucracy of the system itself, the local governments, the governance. So in other words, that situation The fact that there's those immigrants who are sort of living rough on the streets, that creates the potential to set up another branch of the local government that deals with that problem.
Mm-hmm.
So they can not only give a hand, because it will only be a handful, because most of these jobs now are going to be replaced by automation, but it gives them the opportunity to create a handful of jobs for some of the do-gooders and busybodies that live in the area that feel they want to get involved. You know, they got that kind of need to be in the situation, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's what I say, busybodies and do-gooders. Yeah,
I know what the government
gives them something to occupy themselves, and at the same time distracts attention away from the overarching the federal level. Yeah, sorry.
I know what the government would do, because somebody says like, leave him in there, he'll get collected in the morning. You get rid of him. That's a good idea, but I'm sure the government will hold the owner of that fucking wheelie bin responsible.
Yeah, you'll get fined.
They're gonna get council tax if they fucking have somebody living in that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hey, is that housing?
Yeah. It's partly
that's how the government looks at this shit. Like, okay, so you're now housing somebody in your fucking wheelie bin. Well,
it's partly based on what's known as the broken window fallacy. I've noticed recently that they've been doing this a lot with certain stuff. They've tried to. Oh, hi, Paula. Whoosh. Glad you made it. They've been trying to, and I know this is part of the cognitive infiltration method. They've tried to appropriate certain phrases and reword them so that the definition is either muddied or diluted or made more ambiguous. Like I mentioned the one about geofencing a while ago. They want people to think that it's just about advertising, as in they create a geofence so they can send adverts to your phone if you're within that region. Yeah, that's not what fucking geofencing technology was made for, but that's what it can be used for. Yeah, it's one of the things it can be applied to. But they've been doing similar with this kind of stuff as well. They're taking phrases like that and turning them like the broken window fallacy concept. People now hear that and they think it's there's a social sciences concept where they talk about the degradation of the environment causing a feedback loop. And that often gets referred to as the broken window problem. As in, if you live in a neighborhood where everything's disheveled, the windows are broken, there's rubbish in the streets, rubbish, like in Birmingham at the moment, rubbish isn't being collected, that leads to more crime. Basically, and this holds true in the statistics in general. If you live in a ghettoized environment, you tend to see more crime in those environments. But that's not just because the environment looks bad. There's always other mitigating factors that create that feedback loop. Yeah. So people living within that area are usually more unemployed, more destitute, more people who end up turning to crime for various reasons. So it feeds back in on itself. So the broken window problem.
Yeah, they're not seeing the benefits like the people in fucking London do. Or
that's the true meaning of the broken window fallacy.
Exactly.
Yeah, the broken window fallacy originally comes from economics, and is about how the idea, which some people will get in one way or another, broken window is just one example of how this mistake works. But people get this idea of like, oh, well, if we break the windows in this area, it creates more jobs for people that fix windows. So it will boost the economy, won't it? Because it will create more jobs, it will create more work, more money will change hands because people have to buy to have new windows fitted and whatever. And in the long cycle workings of the economy,
boarded up. That's
it doesn't work in the long run. It actually works counter to what people think. So if you go around smashing windows, it doesn't actually make the economy better in that area.
No,
it does completely the fucking opposite. Yeah. So in the same way, this idea of bringing in beggars, right? Because what's in the chat a minute ago? Sorry, who posted it? I think Nitz had posted it there. Beggars perpetuate the enslavement. Yeah. This is part of what they want. It's part of this degradation of society in general. This is why they don't really give a fuck about where these people are getting placed. They're literally just dumping them. Yeah, they don't give a fuck if some of them end up sleeping in a wheelie bin on the street. They want that to happen because that creates that level of degradation and demoralization within that local community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so part of the Kalergi plan principle, and when Kalergi wrote out this plan, he understood this kind of psychology, and that's why he wrote it into the plan in that fashion. I've mentioned this before, this was a medieval tactic. You drive refugees towards your enemy because the refugees become like locusts that degrade the power base of your enemy in many different ways. Yeah, they can be communicating diseases and illnesses. They can be stealing food, stealing products, stealing goods. They can be conflicting with the local indigenous population. There's so many different ways that those refugees have been forced to run in that direction. Yeah, so I'm not suggesting that they're being deliberately malicious. In many ways, they're innocent tools within the problem. Yeah. But you drive them at your enemy and they degrade the capabilities of your enemy. This is why they do it. This is why I've been describing this as the Kalergi plan for I don't know how long now. Yeah, it's not just the replacement theory. They came out with the concept of the replacement theory to try and dilute the threat that is represented by the full application of the Kalergi plan. Yeah. They wanted people to just be concerned with, they're coming here to take our jobs kind of shit, It's like, no, it's far beyond that, mate. It's not just they're here to take your jobs. They're here to literally destabilize your country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just here. This is all throughout the Western world because this is part of that grand chessboard game of going from the multiple different countries into just a handful of power bases because it won't just be one country anymore. As Trump is now proving to everyone, if they feel they need the resources from somewhere else, they'll just go and fucking take them. So it becomes a federation problem. And this is where they'll get the two sides facing up against each other. The East versus the West, the Gog versus Magog. So destabilizing all of the Western nations has been the goal for the last possibly 2 decades. I'm estimating, but anyway, it's when we get into the bigger, longer story stuff. So the main point is like the examples you're showing in those video clips. They are making deliberate efforts, even though they try to present to the public that this is just because they're incompetent or because they follow a particular left-leaning ideological point of view, like so many people think it's just to do with communism or socialism. It's way beyond that. This is not just about forcing you to become part of a socialistic society. This is forcing you to be caught up into a tyrannical global system, a technocratic, because they will be separated so far from us. Like I just mentioned about they want you to be obsessed with your little local politics, your nice little controlled 15-minute environment. Yeah, you can play around in the local politics as much as you want. It's like a sandbox because to them it doesn't matter. It's meaningless. You're one tiny little dot on a field of data points. So if your tiny little dot gets disrupted for a month or two because you're arguing over political shit in your local, that's all right. It doesn't matter to them. Yeah. The principle of resource acquisition and processing and whatever will still carry on regardless of your zone's inability to keep up with required quotas. I had to think about the word then. Yeah, just because you can't keep up with the Hunger Games quota doesn't mean the Hunger Games are going to stop. Did you notice they announced that recently as well? They're going to have a big set of games between with
Hunger
male
Games.
and female couple leading the games.
That was a couple of months ago where he announced that.
Yeah. I should
Yeah,
have caught
it's
up on
the
some of that.
250th anniversary of the United States this year. So it's
So
a
they're
big
talking about
year.
doing it for that. Oh, right.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's the Patriot Games or whatever. Yeah.
76-26. Yes, I see what you mean. Yeah.
hmm
So it's definitely,
Symbolic.
a quarter millennium. Certainly time for a large cycle change.
Yeah.
Not that I buy into the few hundred years reset concept. I think the resets take place over a much longer period. But anyway, that's again a long cycle storyline.
Mhm.
Is that a music track you've got?
That's
lined
a
up?
tune. Yes.
Cool.
It's a
Okay.
cover.
Yeah, because we've
you'll
just
like it.
gone past the hour. So
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, and considering as far as I've seen anyway, I don't think anyone's actually guessed correctly yet.
No.
I did scroll up a bit earlier. And I
Close.
think,
We're very close.
yeah, I think
Consciousness
Nitz
is very close. But
had got it the closest with consciousness, yeah.
Mhm.
And it does definitely tie together. But to give the answer away so you can be thinking about it a bit more, because that was what I wanted to do in the first place, was just get people thinking about the concept, because it ties into what I was saying about prepping and being prepared. The question really simply is, how big is your world? Not the world. As I said, I wasn't really referring to a physical object. You could include the literal objective physical thing that is the world itself, the planet and whatever. But I'm talking about your soul adds into it as well, mate. Yeah. Soul, consciousness.
Imagination. Yeah.
Could argue they're the same thing. But this is why I thought, how big is your world? Because that's really what's relevant. It's your world, as in, what are the things that you are concerned about, what you care about, what you want to survive? Yeah, because when it comes down to the threat level, when people are in a catastrophe, when people are in an accident or emergency situation, their world shrinks immensely.
Mhm.
What really matters in life becomes starkly apparent to you, especially if you have a near-death experience. All of a sudden, all this other detritus that they throw at us on a daily basis becomes obviously meaningless. Yeah? Do you like wearing red ties or blue ties? Who gives a fuck about your red or blue shit, mate?
It's part of your belief as well.
Yeah, sphere of influence could be it as well, yeah. What can you actually influence? What can you actually do something about, in the sense of, can you actually help this thing to survive, whether it be another person or something that you just want in your environment, whatever it is, yeah? What is your sphere of influence?
Yep.
Because when it comes down to it, we can sit and look at and talk about and think about things that are way beyond our reach. So conceptually, our world is your consciousness, the entire universe. Anything that you can think of is part of your world. But what can you actually influence and affect? So when it comes to the question of prepping and thinking about being prepared, as I said, if you think about from the point of view of, if you were in an accident, what would actually really matter to you? A lot of the others, oh, hi, Mr. Swift. Glad you made it. You be, that's cool, mate. Just sit and lurk and listen. Yep. But when it comes down to it, what is actually valuable to you? What do you want to protect? What do you want to take care of and survive into the future? I think you'll find your world becomes a lot more manageable. And that's what I said as part of the clues, when you feel a sense of lightness, when there is no burden or stress or pressure in your life, you feel that the world is massive. You've got loads of options, loads of possibilities. The world is your oyster, as the cheesy saying goes, So it seems massive, it's enormous, almost infinite. But as soon as life gets difficult, as soon as things get heavy and hard, then your world shrinks and you focus on what's important and what's in front of you, what needs to be done to enable your existence, your survival, your happiness as well, obviously, but that's all part of it. I think the age difference matters as well. When you're young, the world seems pretty much infinite, especially to a young child. You know, the world is totally infinite and is largely based in the imagination. But as you get older, it shrinks, and certain things become much more important than most of the rest of it, you know. I'm not trying to suggest that you should not give a concern about other stuff going on out there, but when it comes to this concept of prepping, and as I've been trying to think about things from the point of view of this year is going to be monumentous in the changes that happen. So what is it that's actually genuinely useful to people? And part of it is you need to consider what is valuable to you. You know, focus on those things first. Sorry, long ranting. I spent 5 minutes explaining a simple fucking answer. Right, let's play a tune and we'll be back in a few minutes. Which one do you want to play? Are they both tunes?
Motorhead.
Oh, yeah, play it.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah.
I like that version. It's a good one. It's not too different. It's but kind of fits him. It could have been a good Motorhead song.
I can't remember what album they put it on first. Because he started doing it years ago, not long after Bowie released it.
Bowie brought it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's been, you know, a song they played regular for quite a few years before he died, obviously. Yeah, but
yeah.
I know it's on one of the albums. I don't remember which one though. I haven't got a lot of the later albums. I've only got the earlier ones. Just typical for me. I got into the band when they were first going, but the later stuff I wasn't really into. But yeah, it's definitely a very appropriate tune, especially for Lemmy as well. Yeah. Inglorious Bastard. Often gets referred to. He was certainly a very insightful and thoughtful person, even if he was a bit of an arsehole, supposedly. But yeah,
I think you have to be, right?
I was going to say, you always have to wonder as well when it comes to the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's so much bitchiness and bullshit.
Yeah.
Maybe the reasons...
Fakery. Fake. Oh, I
maybe
love
the
you,
reasons,
Lenny. I love you, Lemmy. Fuck off.
They might be calling him an arsehole simply because he wouldn't put up with their bullshit.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what
he told them where the fuck to get out, you know, whenever they were trying to fuck around with their bullshit. Because, you know, I don't think you survive that long to literally have a lifelong career playing music. Yeah, because he was in Hawkwind for I don't know how many years. Yeah.
Independently, right? Because he could have done the pop thing, probably. He got offered. Like, you want to have a contract and do the poppy thing?
Yeah.
We can get you in the top 40.
Yeah. There you go. Rich T says he met him.
Cool.
And he was a gent. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm thinking. I never got the chance to meet him, but I only ever saw him on stage. But yeah, it made me wonder, like, is it the bad press about him simply because he doesn't put up with people's shit? You know?
Yeah.
Especially in the entertainment industry, where a lot of it is about ass licking to work your way up the greasy pole, you know? And he's not the kind of person to do that kind of shit, so that'll get you a bad reputation. Oh, he refused to kiss my ass, so he's a fucking cunt. Yeah. So
I think very similar to Rammstein in Germany. Those guys.
Yeah, because they basically
just do what the fuck they want and don't give a shit if you're outraged. Fuck that. And they tried to cancel them, and they almost succeeded, but no.
Similar with Primus. They constantly tried to get them to do certain styles of music, and what's his face, Claypool, just kept telling them to fuck off, leave him alone.
Selfie polls. Selfie.
Right. Well, to mention some of the other stuff over the last week, we sort of got past the the curious question. I'd also add, and I don't mean this to sound negative, I think it's just a way of perceiving the concepts that can be useful to be aware of. Your world is a confinement because you cannot go beyond it. You can try and empathize. You can try and consider what it's like to be someone else or be something else. You know, if you want to identify as a dog or a cat or whatever, yeah, you could try and imagine what it's like to be that other thing. But as far as we know, anyway, you can never leave your world. It's your world and you are within it. So in a way, you could describe it as a prison. And I think this is why there's a certain amount of misconception or miscomprehension about some of the Gnostic principles, because they often are referred to as being people who believed in this reality being a prison. And I don't think that's quite accurate. I think that's a bit of a misinterpretation.
No, it's more hell. I would say.
Well, that's the way they supposedly...
Like Dante described
it. Yeah. The Cathars principle was, this is hell, and your job is to perfect yourself so that you can exit this hell. Very much like you are Neo in the Matrix, and your
or you
job
sign
is
the deal with the devil and go for the career and success and
this is
glory
why,
and fame and blah.
Yeah, this is why it's a confinement.
Yeah.
In that respect, yeah. No one gets out alive, as Frank Zappa put it. You know, you could view it that way. It's the same kind of idea. Your world is closed in that respect because it's your perspective. That's why it's very subjective. You know.
Yeah, like success, right? How do you measure success, and what is it
compared to other things?
How do you quantify that? And so how can you quantify that you're successful in life if there's no measurement for it? Like, how can you
who comes up with the measurement? Are you coming up with it yourself?
Yeah. Right.
Or are you taking on board somebody else's value system?
Well, these are the kind of choices that they give you on your way when you start your journey in life, right? So, yeah.
Or they try and impress upon you certain aspirations that you're supposed to take on board that are not necessarily in your own best interest, but serve the purpose of those outside principalities as they're biblically described, you know?
Yeah, and they keep your world artificially small in that sense. Like they keep you confined and in that prison, right? In that work prison or enslavement prison or whatever prison. But prison of the mind.
And if you can take that consideration and apply it to a layer of cymatics along with that kind of sacred geometry principles that we talked about before, this is why they want us to be interested or even obsessed with certain things, certain concepts, and especially things like materialism, the consumption of goods that serves a definite purpose that is largely about control, but there's other things involved in it as well. And even down to, and this is why I mentioned the cymatics thing as well, even down to the kind of environments that we live within, because they know full well that your environment is part of your world. So it affects your energy, and it's your energy that they're interested in various ways for different reasons, It's not just about producing things within the economy and stuff like that. We were talking about broken window fallacy earlier. But in a similar fashion, they deliberately adjust or change or alter the environment around us to affect our energy and the way we interact with each other. Like the Kalergi plan, they know that if they dump a load of people in an area in that way, like the guy in the bin, that's going to have a very defined energetic effect on all the people that are within that environment to experience it. If you live a far enough distance away, you're not going to experience it, so you're unlikely to feel the effect kind of thing, you know, but there can be a ripple, there can be a knock-on effect that gets transferred to you wherever you are. But yeah, again, as well, this ties into things like the mind of men principles. In that documentary, they mainly focused on research that's to do with affecting individuals, but they also cover how some of that research is then applied to people en masse through things like the media, through television and movies and music, etc.
Oh, that's it, right? I think we are our own prisoners, right? We are so conditioned to put ourselves into boxes.
Largely,
corners.
we police each other. Yes.
Yeah. I had this clip in the daily. I think that's kind of plays into this. I want to play. Can I?
Yeah. Go on. Yeah.
Sometimes the nicest people you meet smoke, drink, curse, and the most evil people you meet go to church every Sunday. That's why I stopped judging people by what they look like on the outside. Real character shows in how someone treats you when nobody's watching. It shows in their intentions, their loyalty, their integrity. So before you judge someone based on how they live, ask yourself how they love, how they move, and how they show up when it actually counts.
The music is fucking annoying, but I get why they're doing it.
I get this because there's these people that kind of see through the matrix, know they failed in the matrix, and then they decide, oh, so you're gonna fail in this matrix as well, right? And I'm gonna do everything to prevent you succeeding in this matrix. Like very Karen behavior, right?
Yeah. The Karen, in a way, is an archetype that fits in very well to what I was just going to describe. I know I've talked about this kind of idea before, but I think it's much more relevant and predominant now in the modern society. And that's the idea of this sub-psychopath. Somebody who fits in the middle in the pecking order. They've accepted that they're not the top dog. They've accepted that there are people who are bigger and harder and uglier than them, or whatever it is. You know, they're more powerful than them. So they accept their position in the middle, like you were just saying. You know, they've realized they've failed, but they've accepted that they've got this position where they can still punch down. So they can get a sense of accomplishment or a sense of fulfillment by attacking those that are subordinate to them. So you get that Karen personality. They get a sense of fulfillment and validation through chastising others.
Yeah, through you.
Energy
sucking of your energy. Yes, energy vampires, exactly.
Yeah. And they found a position within the pecking order because, and I think this is based on natural principles through the power of three, the principle of three, which, you know, I think you've seen enough to understand what I mean by that. The people who manipulate this system, I don't want to say they control it outright, because I don't think they do control everything, but you get the point. They figured out a long time ago that if they keep us in a structure that is based on threes, you will naturally get a formation, a demographic of people that will assume the role of the enforcer. In other words, they've accepted that they're not the top dog, but they're willing, they desire a position that has a certain level of power, or what they feel gives them that sense of power. The way Orwell described it, you know, there is always that desire for the sense of, the lustful sense of power, purely for its own good, for its own reason, It's not so much that they want to be able to control an entire country. Like, again, they don't think they're capable, but they want some level of power. So they're willing to conform to the diktats of the people who they think are the real powerful people. So when somebody like Trump stands up and says, hey, everybody loves doing this, so let's all do this, all those conformist people will start doing this, whatever the this is, because somebody that they feel that they've been taught, that they've been shown is more powerful than them. And when I say shown, I mean psychologically. They've been subjugated to oppression in such a way that, like a gimp in a sadomasochistic relationship, they have accepted their gimphood. They want to be the subordinate, So they look to those people that they've been told are the powerful ones, and they conform to the diktats that are handed down to them. The rest of us are then the mass of the population that is subjected to that waterfall effect of that diktat being passed down. Yeah? I know that sounds terribly degrading, but I think it's an unfortunate truth that there are some personalities, some people. I often refer to them as personalities, so it's just my way of explaining that, you know, each body can host varying personalities, can't it? So, yeah, it's more about the personality that becomes indoctrinated rather than the physical body.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too much of a separation, but anyway, whatever. Yeah, the body is the mind is the body. But then
Well, again, a lot of it is created, right? What we think is real or perceive as reality, kind of, right? It's kind of given to us in programming, but then you're in life. The older you get, the more you find out that, oh, this isn't true. Oh, that's different. Oh, you know. And I heard this clip of Miles Davis today, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know he talked like this in the first place. But here we go.
Black musicians genetically better than white musicians? Get me in trouble.
Not better, but they play different. White musicians seem to lag behind the beat. You know, I don't know why.
Does black musicians hurt more?
What do you mean hurt more?
I mean, is it?
It's not that cliche.
I mean, it's not that easy to say that because you came out of slavery, you play on the beat.
I have nothing to do with it.
All right.
I told a student teacher of mine like that in Juilliard. She started talking about, well, you know, the black people were despondent at night, and they say that's where the blues came from. So I raised my hand. I said, listen, my father's rich, my mama's good looking, right? And I can play the blues. I never suffered and don't intend to suffer.
I love this, right? Because we all think like, oh yeah, blues, suffering and slavery, and no, man, my daddy was rich, my mama was fine.
He had to have suffered to be able to play the blues.
Yeah, you have to know what suffering kind of means to not want it, right? That's not what I want, and just get into that kind of thought. But another illusion kind of shattered, right?
The interviewer, who was a white man,
he believed it. He completely believed that. That's the fact. Yeah, that's how blues
totally bought into the concept that the only reason he can sing blues so good is because he's a subjugated black man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, your mama was a cotton picker. No. No.
Even in that respect, the blues comes out of gospel. Yeah, primarily it's from a combination of the old gospel mixed with native chanting that was brought over from Africa. Yeah? So a lot of it, some people have talked about what's called the Bombata beat. I remember Nickachief, if he's listening, used to mention this. That's one of the primary rhythms that was brought over from Africa. Washibong is good.
Shut up.
Yeah. It's the extra tasty bits.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not even that bad.
No, it's not actually. No. It's only been a week
coffee.
Since.
It's not coffee yet. So.
My coffee's black as well. So yeah. But, it's Oh no, just talking about history of music in a way, but
it's a wide perspective that's being put on the black suffering. So it's another kind of a story that is being told. Like, oh my God, the tiny violin stuff, right?
I would ask them, how then do they also explain jazz? Because early jazz also comes primarily from black communities. Yeah, jazz originally was a sort of offshoot of blues. Well, they were developing it about the same time, but they were mixed together basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it only becomes more defined when the white people went, oh, that's interesting. Let's get all technical on it. And you got people who actually really sort of dove into it, and it becomes all the kind of various forms of jazz that we've got now. Yeah, but originally, yeah, it came out the same kind of roots as the blues music. How would he explain that?
Again, you know,
well, being a slave makes you like jazz. You know, funny that.
Yeah, but it's like us in our situation right now. We can imagine that we're gonna be in World War III and you know, in no foreseeable time.
Don't need to imagine it's already
no,
happening.
but yeah, well, for a lot of people, it's not really reality yet, right? So
yeah, they haven't seen the flashes in the
they
sky.
need to see the bombs and the dead people. Yes, sure.
Yeah, it's still just something on a screen for most people.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I cannot worry about the outcome or the potential of it or the suffering and the you know, all the hardship and write a blues song about it. you know, right now. I don't have to go through it first before, you know, I can imagine all that shit, right?
Yeah.
History is long enough and old enough to pretty much write every song you want.
Yeah, for those that bother to take the time to learn from it.
To learn about history, yeah, sure, yeah.
Because that's another part of. I know people like to attribute it to modern society, but it's not a modern invention because, you know, bread and circuses and whatever. But, you know, distracting people with entertainments and consumerism and all that kind of shit. It's nothing new.
Bread and circuses is as old as bread and circuses.
So them constantly throwing stuff, like day after day, there's just something else weird or freaky or crazy happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's all to keep you distracted, keep you destabilized and off kilter and whatever. That way you're more likely to defer to some other authority to deal with shit for you, you know, which
when I think about prepping, right, I'm not thinking about them dropping bombs or whatever, because if that happens, then you know what you're gonna do, right? You're vaporized, you're fucked.
You're rolling dice then, just to, you know, hope you survive.
When they're hitting, when you're living next to an American base right now, you know, it's not a good place to be.
When it only takes 3 missiles from Russia to pretty much devastate the UK. Yeah, there's no point worrying about that shit.
Yeah, well, that will be an extra worry, Roberto. Right? If I would live. Hey, Roberto, there you are.
Hey, Roberto, word, mate. Sorry, man, go on.
So you know, there are limits, right? Where you have, you know, so yeah. I'm not worried. I'm worried about the power cuts. No food, those things, right? In the short term, because I know when stuff goes down, it also gets ramped up again, and you know, stuff gets distributed in different ways, but that takes time. So for that time, I'm prepping.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not prepping for doomsday. I'm not, you know, if it's the actual end of the world, then what the fuck am I going to prep for? You know, I'm not a billionaire. I'm going to build a big bunker. Yeah. I'll just do my very best, but I'm not going to financially ruin myself or, you know, put myself into an impossible situation because of that. That's pointless.
You can't hide from reality. So that's why I was trying to build a bunker and all that kind of shit. It's just the wrong way to do it. Yeah?
We are like we're still thinking in bombs and things, right?
Yeah. And bunkers.
We were just talking about stuff that they have, like what they deployed in Venezuela, right? Supposedly.
Yeah.
None of that was bombs. You know, that's all space-based and electromagnetic, sonic.
Yeah, frequency weapons.
Yeah.
So
no matter how deep you are in a bunker, they're gonna cook you.
That's a good time to mention that. You know, this is as information has been coming out, obviously over the last
insane.
Few days.
That story is fucking wild. Yeah.
What we were talking about last week, for people who don't know, maybe haven't caught up or whatever, more information has come out about what happened in Venezuela when they went and kidnapped Maduro. Yeah, and as we were saying last week, it turns out that the truth is that there were lots of casualties, especially, in particular on the Venezuelan side, there were a lot of people killed.
Hundreds.
According to some estimates, you're talking like 300 plus. Not all of them military either. Some were civilians, but
mostly military.
They're still insisting that there were no casualties on the American side, no deaths anyway. Minor injuries is the most I've heard mentioned so far, but that I could put down to just bravado as well. They don't want to give away any information that makes them look weak. Not at all. Not in this situation. But yeah, as Pete included in his daily video today, there's some reports now of the advanced weaponry that was used against the people in Venezuela. And one of them, from what the eyewitness reports describe, you're talking a long-range acoustic device, or LRAD device, some form of sonic or frequency weapon, which we've talked about.
Kind of a thing, I think.
Yeah, a directed energy weapon, but that's a bit of a misnomer in that respect. But anyway, whatever. High technology weaponry.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that we've talked about for years that almost always gets poo-pooed as just being crazy conspiracy, paranoid, freak out bullshit. It's not at all.
Nope.
There now is literal evidence. There's now eyewitness reports of the effects that occurred to some of those defenders that were trying to protect Maduro. They lost all communication. They lost all technical equipment functionality.
That's how it started. So everything dropped out. Lights, radar, radio, everything. Yes, that's how it started.
And then many of them were subjected to this kind of frequency attack that caused them to vomit or bleed profusely.
Yeah, at first I saw a lot of drones, apparently. Drones showed up out of nowhere. And then they started feeling the nosebleeds, the vomiting,
he didn't mention
sickness.
it in the video clip, but I'm wondering if there was a mixture of drones. Maybe some of them were electronic, as in ECM kind of stuff. But then some of them might have been carrying these frequency weapons or even conventional firearm weaponry.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. So they got drone
and then
attacks.
it was like 8 helicopters and 20 men. What they could see at maximum that came out. And they used weapon that appeared like they were shooting 300 bullets at once.
That's the electric.
So some high kinetic fucking.
It's one I've showed years ago. I showed the diagram of it years ago. It's basically like a big square box on a mountain, so it can be moved. So you can put on a vehicle or a ship or whatever. And rather than using combustible chemical material ignition or propellant, so it doesn't use gunpowder, it uses an electrical propellant system. So you can literally have, and the way they built this one design was there was something like 100 barrels in this oblong box on a mountain, and it's only about a foot deep. The total sort of mechanism is only about a foot deep because you don't need a whole rifle barrel. Because you don't have to contain the propellant to create the pressure wave to push the bullet, blah, 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 because it's all done electronically. So you can literally have almost like what they described as a wall of lead. 100 rounds at a time are fired out of this thing, and it can be belt fed like a minigun. You think you literally got like a 6 foot square or a 2 meter square wall of lead coming at you on a machine gun level frequency. So maybe that's the kind of thing he was describing, electronic firing, not chemical.
Yeah, you remember the Havana syndrome?
Yes, that was acoustic weaponry as
that
well.
was similar, right? So and they
frequency
got
weapons,
brain tumors even from that. So that went pretty far. So no, they can cook they don't need bullets anymore. All that fucking bullshit. Fuck that shit. Think UFOs, think that shit, right? All that Area 51 stuff they have. They can space laser you from fucking, And these bunkers are just
I was going to say,
tomfoolery for billionaires, right?
if anything, the bullet is like an act of mercy.
Yeah,
Because
in this
these kind
case,
of
yeah.
frequency weapons don't necessarily kill instantly. They
No, they were
degrade
hearing
body
voices.
functions. Yeah.
Voices were going through their heads. They could
in some
stuff were happening.
descriptions,
Yeah.
and this is going back a few years from stuff that was coming out of Russia, because Russia have got similar developments, of course. If anything,
Iraq
Russia is
back in
ahead.
the day.
Yeah, Russia is supposedly ahead of the Americans or the Westerners in this kind of
psionics,
frequency weaponry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they reckon they have stuff that can literally liquidize you inside. I know that sounds terrible, but potentially, like I said, a bullet is a mercy killing, yeah? Because if they're subjecting you to that kind of weaponry, it doesn't kill you. It just completely debilitates you so you can't fight. Yeah? And then they come in with firearms and finish you off because you
They
just
couldn't move. They
on the
couldn't do.
floor.
The soldiers were they were the nose were bleeding. They were
that's
their
how they
brain
killed
was on
those
fire.
women.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ah! Yeah.
If it's
like
true,
like Stranger
obviously,
Things.
obviously we're dealing with military reports where misdirection and whatever is beneficial to them. But if what they're saying and what's being reported is true,
Trump was hinting at this.
Yeah, that's how they literally just walked through divisions of military armed men who were there to defend Maduro.
Do you
They were
really
just
think
cripples on the floor? Yeah.
Do you really think the Americans would sell you any weapon if they don't have a counter weapon to it?
Yeah,
right.
True. Right? Yeah.
And all these fuckers buying American stuff and Russian stuff, and of course there is a counter to that. And we've seen it in Iraq and Afghanistan and some places, We've seen those experiments. We've seen them test it out. We've seen them try it. And fuck, yeah. And Trump is like, fuck, yeah, no, do it.
Yeah.
Fuck conventional, go for it. Because Putin is doing it as well right now with his fucking ballistic shit, right? He's showing what he's got. Trump's showing what he's got.
Yeah. Or hypersonic, I should say.
Yeah. South America is now sweating fucking peas, right? Because if he's gonna cook you, what you gonna do with your,
But like I said before, like I said last week, it's one thing taking out the supposed leader, like they took Maduro out, but he just the vice president got sworn in, so he just got replaced, and his administration, even though like the face of the administration has changed, which obviously can come along with a personality change and whatever. But basically, the bureaucracy that was running Venezuela has just carried on. So all of Trump's bravado and bluster, it's like, yeah, great, mate. You got one man and his wife. You haven't stopped that country being independent, being its own country. If you want to do that, you're going to have to send in boots on the ground to occupy it, to control it, unless they agree to contract with you and go along with what you want, which they might do.
There's a Zionist contingency in Venezuela,
I've been hearing
kind of sidetracked.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's much of a problem, honestly. But
potentially, no. I think they're going to end up in like a subcontracting situation.
It's not Trump, is it? It's not America.
No, of course it's not Trump
fucking
himself.
Israel, right?
Yeah. Somaliland. Yeah, we mentioned that last week. Yeah, it's the preparations for going at Iran are well in place now. We're literally just watching the logistic play out of the time. As in, it takes a few days and weeks for all the logistics to happen. But this is what I said last week. This is most definitely the beginning of World War III.
Yeah.
Even the official talking heads on mainstream legacy news reports now are calling it World War III. So
boats have 60 kilowatt lasers now. Hey.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Pew, pew.
So this next level of warfare has already started. And in this next level of warfare, as we've discussed before, nuclear and mass destruction are a possibility, but they're not really beneficial to any side. So they're going to use lots of other methods to achieve what they want before they resort to those kind of weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still valid as an argument to propose that most countries are acting in their own interests. So in other words, they want to accumulate for themselves and to protect themselves. So again, why would they use weapons that are just so totally destructive when they can use other methods to acquire, like we saw with Trump?
They're holding up that fucking fake Geneva Convention kind of a thing. Oh no, war crimes bad. Ooh, well, sorry,
but when it comes down to it, it's all down to use of force.
Israel has shown that Geneva is a fucking pointless fucking thing that, you know, was just
It
on
was
paper
an agreement
for show,
yeah.
an agreement. Yeah. So,
I've explained what I've explained. I've given my concept or my perception.
Forget about all that. That's off the table.
The way the global situation has worked for the last 200 plus years, nearly 300 years now, it's a system of anarchy. Yeah, and it's been this way for the length of time of the existence of the global network, which is about nearly 300 years. Back to the 1700s, that was when the global trade network was properly established. And that was when we started spreading ourselves all around the world as a global uniformity with, a globalized and accepted criminal code and trading codes and stuff like that. Yeah. Like
that's the new leader of Venezuela. There you go.
No, that's Machado. That's the woman in waiting.
Yeah,
the one who had the Peace Prize. She's not the actual leader.
She's gonna get it.
But for that long, all of the nations involved in this one global system have been working on principles of anarchism, because basically it comes down to, if you can protect yourself, you'll be safe against everybody else. But if you can't, one of the big nations will come along and swallow you up. Originally, we were doing it through what was called colonialism, but that's what we were doing. We were going around the world pirating the resources from other nations, from other countries. But we called it something different so that we could create the pseudo impression that it was legitimate or what. Bollocks was it? It was just use of force, yeah? And all of the big countries played along with this game of, well, if you leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. But if you start attacking us, we'll fight back. We'll have a war. Yeah, and we were just as big and hard and ugly as you. So, if you want to spend that much of your population, we'll do the same. So there were deliberate wars that took place. Yeah, I'm not suggesting that it was all peace and roses. It wasn't at all. But they were operating on some of the basic principles of anarchism. They would agree to contract with each other if they agreed to it. They would develop alliances. They would have trade agreements, financial agreements, blah, blah, blah. Like I mentioned, the internationally accepted system of trade. From when that first became global, like with the East India Company and stuff like that, when we established global trade networks and all the big major players agreed that they would operate on the same basis, maritime law, admiralty law and all that kind of shit, that was a one world system. And in that environment, they've all been working on anarchistic principles that come down to the use of an application of force. That's why now this idea of, they're breaching international law and whatever. International law only counts while they all agree to it.
Yeah, and if you have national law, because how can you break international law if there is not even a national law that we uphold, right?
Replicate it, yeah.
So whose authority are we talking to when we're talking about?
Like they tried to charge Maduro with ownership of machine guns because that's
international law has been America for fucking 60, 70 years now.
No.
Well,
Great Britain. We established the Bar Society, and the Bar Society is what created the system of law around the world. Everything comes back to the Bar Society. I remember Kip always used to talk about this years ago, and he was spot on with this. Yeah? The Bar Society is the foundation of the principles of law that were applied in pretty much every country. So we franchised out the three primary principles of law, as in the Bar Society and the judicial system that goes along with it, trade because of the international trade agreements that eventually become the UCC, the Universal Commercial Code. And then I think as well, it could be argued that the secret societies and the Masonic orders are also absolutely intrinsically tied into the development of every major nation. No matter what their culture is, the secret societies are there doing their thing to enable the entire structure to carry on working the way they like
laws,
it.
Don't they?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Laws of piracy and basically, again, principles of anarchism.
Yeah, pirates and mafia.
You need to be big enough and strong enough to protect yourself. If you're not,
but those are the real laws that dictate this world, right? It's the pirate laws and the mafia
admiralty laws. Yes, absolutely right. Yeah,
sure. It's not not
I
this so-called justice.
I would redefine mafia laws as the divine laws that come out.
Yeah, it's a modern version, right?
They're not truly the divine laws as the concept goes, but they're
the land version of the pirate laws.
In a way, it is. Yeah. But it's their bullshit where they've signed bits of paper or paper.
Yeah. So what is justice then?
Where they've laid claim
just
to
a facade.
It can be if you're looking at it within the principalities of human experience.
Well, yeah, a playbook then.
There is this is why I say divine law is different to the law of the Vatican that has taken dominance. Real divine law is about how this reality works.
Well, that might,
We're talking back to things like the cymatics and the sacred geometry principles and stuff like that. The plasma reality, I've often referred to it recently, but that's true.
That's the great awakening that people are hoping for as well, right? That might occur as well at the same time as all the fucking.
I think so. Right? Yeah.
Chaos. Yeah, I think so too.
Because the one thing with that, like talking about earlier, that the reality that they know full well there's a demographic of people that like being sub-psychopaths. Those demographics are always a far smaller percentage than the total population. You think about it in this sense, like the people that think they're in power, the so-called controllers, the elite, the cabal, blah, 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 they are 0.00001% of the
Stanford prison experiment, right?
Yeah, there's a few thousand of them globally at most, But then you got the enforcer demographic, which includes people in politics, people in the judiciary, people in the military, people in the police force, etc. There's quite a few of them, but even their number is still only a few percent of the total population. In a way, you could describe them similar to the percentage scale of psychopaths. So maybe they make up several percent, 8%, 9% of the population.
Yeah, they're playing the breeder game as well, so I don't know. But...
Yeah, true, mate. Yeah. They try to influence the creation of more psychopaths, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. That's modern society with MK Ultra applied. Yes, absolutely. Yes. But the reality is, I'm describing it as that classic Custer's last stand principle, which is why they shit themselves so much whenever the population really gets riled up, and why, like the image you originally had when we started, why they expend so much time and energy trying to propagandize and indoctrinate and manipulate us, because they know full well that if we decide to turn against them, they're outnumbered 100 to 1 at least. Yeah, in terms of numbers, percentage of demographics of your population. Yeah, they want us to carry on being deluded and apathetic and self-interested and, just beaten down into that kind of subordinate position, because they know full well that if we all en masse turn against them, it doesn't matter how much fucking weaponry they've got. It really does not matter. There might be a few of them that survive in a deep bunker somewhere, but we'll just outlive them. They know that sieges don't fucking work. Yes, so psychopaths love company because they need furniture.
Need affirmation a lot.
And they need
You're
furniture.
Great, you're fantastic. Yeah, you're right.
So one thing psychopaths love is other people to use as tools. So they definitely don't like being on their own. That makes them powerless. They don't like that. and mention a few other things because we haven't sort of dug into some of the other stuff. The woman that got shot in the USA by the ICE agent.
Yeah.
This seems to have caused a bit of controversy across the internet for a few days.
Definitely in America, for sure.
Absolutely, right. Yeah, and I think that was the
Still
really
does.
relevant point. Yeah, I think they're utilising the situation to try and spark a conflict off in America. You know, similar to the George Floyd event, they want to try and use it to create agitation amongst the different divided parts of the population. Hopefully spark a civil war if that's what they want to take it to. I don't know if they want it to go quite that far yet, but they certainly want people fighting with each other in the street about which side they support.
Yeah, no, and if you ask me, was it justified? No. Is it understandable?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Don't
it was
drive off
real,
and they tell you to fucking get out of the car in America because cops have guns and they like to use them. So, you know.
Yeah.
If you don't know that by now, you're a retard.
And I would say, yeah, if it was real, and I'm just adding that on just as a consideration.
You never know,
because,
sure.
Yeah, there's a lot about the situation.
A lot of 33s on that one.
A big long list of 33s. Venonymous did a video about it over the weekend. He lists a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're interested in the possibility of it being staged, check out Venonymous or a werewolf on YouTube. He's got some video on it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a few people have covered this, you know, the number of 33s that get mentioned in the story and whatever. But if it was real, then yeah, it was just it seems to me anyway, from looking at the coverage, it was just a coordination of bad fucking decisions on all parts. And yeah, over the top fucking decisions on the part of the officer. He did not need to fucking shoot her, full stop. So
no, that's excessive.
Yeah.
At least excessive.
Yeah, and especially when he says fucking bitch at the end after she's fucking already dead, you know?
Yeah.
But, there's that situation.
But she should have got out of the car when they told her to get out of the car as well, like minutes before, like 3-4 times.
Well, less than minutes, like literally like 30 seconds before.
Yeah.
One of them was saying
a couple of times, so
you know,
she was disobeying orders. So, yeah, but does that justify murder? No. Is that a death sentence? No.
But it's a bad fucking decision.
But in America, yeah,
it's a bit of a stupid
shoot
thing
you for
to
less.
do. Yeah, exactly. And even the fact that you're dealing with ICE officers who were sort of
IDF officers.
ambiguous militia in a way. They're not exactly the same as the police force over there, are they? They don't have the same jurisdiction and legislation and whatever. Yeah, it's shit situation. But it's definitely been exploited. It's been filling up the news media from America, and it's caused a lot of division and argumentation, which is what they like, you know. So to me, that was part of the consideration of this could be engineered, because look at the effect it's having, and you're getting all these different sort of talking heads and political faces coming out and picking one side or the other and shouting.
No, it was bound to happen in one way or the other. Like somebody was going to die.
Considering what he's been doing,
Yeah, well, and the antagonizers, because she's part of the antagonizer group who hates ICE and does everything to fucking obfuscate and work against them and be a nuisance and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So she's paid to be there, like to be who she is as an activist, and those guys are there to shoot you if you're annoying.
The enforcers,
right? Yeah.
Some psychopaths. Yeah.
It's not, you know, then it's bound to happen. So sure.
Yeah.
I think it's in that sense fake, but real, but fake. Yeah.
Certainly useful to them. Yeah. But I think in a way, unfortunately, obviously, if somebody's died for real, then it's unfortunate that they've died. But it also, in a way, could be beneficial in the sense of it gets people having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know the system, the politicians and whatever want people to just fight with each other, but if people can actually, resist the temptation to be that aggressive with each other and actually talk about this shit, your system, your current political system happily is using this situation to try and fuck with you. That alone, whether you think one side or the other is right or wrong, becomes meaningless because just that fact alone. Like it says, their propaganda would be unnecessary.
The Americans right now are fighting over a woman being shot by AI's agent. Meanwhile, their country is invading another country completely, like with all the inhabitants in it, and claim it as their own. And Greenland is next, and Cuba, and Colombia, and Mexico, and I don't know what. They have a whole list all of a sudden, Cookie. It's funny, that. Right?
Yeah. They're looking around the world thinking,
Iran. Let's not forget Iran.
Well, to mention
so-called fucking protest in Iran.
I mean, give an honorary mention to Greenland. I think that's that as well could be being done as a deliberate distraction potentially.
Yeah, I got that.
People are getting caught up in the argument of Trump can't ask for that. Trump can't do that.
Oh no! Here's
Greenland's a part of Denmark and they're a NATO member. It's not allowed under international law.
Here's Trump right now in Greenland.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
Gonna rename it Trumpland.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if he did. With the Gulf of America and Trumpland.
Mm-hmm. That's where it's certain end times. End times for what? I don't know, but it's definitely the beginning times of that fucking New World Order shit.
Well, the only system they know, it seems that the only way they can process realities, they think everything has to be destroyed and rebuilt every so often. So when they say it's the end of the world, what they mean is the current world.
Yeah.
Not the end of everything full stop. They just mean the way this is like the Mayan prophecy, the way you have been living is coming to an end and you will start living a different way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm paraphrasing it a bit, but that's what the Mayan prophecy per se said. It didn't say 2012 would be the end of the world. It just said it would be the end of the way you are used to living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot has changed since 2012.
We know it, right? As you know it.
Yeah,
it's the end of the world as you know it.
Yeah, and they
forget
want
about
you
the
to
90s. The 90s are not coming back, guys.
No. Nor the 50s or the 60s or the 70s. No, you cannot go back. There is only ever forward. So you can recreate things to try and make it similar, but you can never actually go back. But anyway, the Iran situation.
To play us out, or
not yet? No, I'll dig one out in a minute.
Okay, cool.
The Iran situation, I could see that kicking off by the end of the month. Listen to General what's his face? Fucking hell, trying to remember his name. One with blonde hair and a slightly lazy eye. He pops up on the news every now and then, whatever. Anyway, retired general, American general. And he was suggesting the same thing.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
He was saying like he thinks he's probably going to spark off by the end of the month. I was wondering, contemplating on certain relevant dates, because these people who seem to be obsessed with numerology and the solar cycle. Thanks for listening in, Jen. See you tomorrow night. Yeah. See you in the chat for Rob's show tomorrow night. Yeah, they like their numerology and they like certain solar cycle related dates.
Yeah, stuff. Oh, yeah. Ooh, everything is aligning. So,
So there could be something beginning of February, I think, because there's a connection to Venus, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I was trying to think if there was any particular dates, but some of the talking heads out there are suggesting the end of January. But certainly, I don't think they're going to leave it very long.
I don't think
Even
we're
if,
going to see much of it because we're going to be in a blackout or something. But that's my
yeah,
prediction.
possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it could be over and done really quick, like Max Egan suggested that idea. The
12-minute war. Yeah, that scares me.
Yeah,
That's a terrifying scenario. But yeah,
I think he might be oversimplifying it a little bit, but I do agree in the sense of some of the technology now means, entire countries could be disabled within minutes.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even know it's happened.
We all carry a
just
bomb in our pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some appliance.
Yeah, that's where I'm a bit dubious because I think some of that is just propaganda, but whatever. Yeah. The point is,
of course, they would like you to believe that to be. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, of course, because it makes
they
them seem powerful.
have shown some of it. So
yeah. But that was fairly particular. I think Matt's off as well. Good night. Good day, Matt. Good day, Matt.
Mate. Have a good day, mate.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, fella.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in early morning. I'll try and wrap it up quick, but I wanted to mention a few of these other things. One to do with the X and what did they call it? The nudification.
Yeah, the bikini pictures. Yeah.
The AI, the Grok AI being used to take images or video of people and then take the clothes off the people in the video or the image. Yeah. So that's why they were calling it nudification. I think that might be a new word.
Yeah, there was some child porn issues. So you can
that seems to be
put an image of a child in a normal dress and put it in a bikini.
And this is why I wanted to mention it, because I haven't heard anyone else say this yet. Maybe they have, and I just ain't seen it. You know, there's a lot of people out there talking about these subjects, but in the Parliament today, Liz Kendall made an announcement saying that the government is going to introduce some legislation to make it illegal. Well, she actually called it a criminal offence, to make it a criminal offence to do this process, to use the AI to take the clothes off people or to put them in bikinis. I think she might have been talking specifically like making them look sexual, like the sexualization of children and stuff like that. Not necessarily just that they're in bikinis per se, but making it look sexualized. But the point being, she's talking about introducing new legislation, which is sort of like, well, there's already legislation about creating child porn using electronic means.
Yep.
Even paper and pencil. If you were doing drawn pictures of that kind of stuff and trying to publish them, they'd come and do you for it. So there's already legislation to cover that kind of offence.
Yeah, unless you're an artist and the elites love you, then you can do it. But yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course you can sell your pictures to go up on the wall.
Yeah, if you're an artist, right?
Yeah. But they're talking about bringing in new legislation.
Yeah.
And that had me thinking, and like I said, other people may have already suggested this possibility. I think the only reason they're pushing on this, because they know it's already possible via the internet in the first place anyway. Just the internet itself has been doing this kind of shit for years before AI came along. But by suggesting that this is now all of a sudden a new problem based on the AI on X, that gives them the possibility to force the introduction of digital ID, because they will claim a justification similar to Australia, where children under 16 would be blocked from using these social media platforms like X. And they'll claim that, this way we can, if that kind of functionality, the AI is behind a paywall, that means anyone who does it can be tracked and traced. Their details will be known because of the digital ID. And we can prevent images of children being shared because, again, digital ID blocking children from accessing blah, 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 blah. So I can see this being an engineered ploy. I'm not suggesting that Grok isn't doing it or whatever.
But X does that. It's not like X doesn't do that. If you do that, right, and somebody catches you and they report you, X is going after you and they'll first cancel your fucking account, right? They'll lock it. And if the police is asking for more information, they'll gladly give it, right? Because you're doing an illegal thing in a country. It doesn't matter to them, you know. So they're not pro kitty porn over at X, right? It's just that these AIs don't discriminate. There's no right, and they could do that. They just change the algorithm.
Yeah,
but then in the future, we won't be able to create anything with kids in it, right? We are limiting that AI to certain things because some people see sexuality in it. But when a normal person sees somebody in a child in a fucking bikini, it doesn't mean he, immediately starts jerking off.
Yeah, and
right?
it doesn't remove the problem of people creating imagery using other systems.
Right. So you're pushing people underground.
Yeah.
And to the real stuff.
Yeah.
Right, which is kind of weird as well to me, because why would you object to this? Because it's all fake.
It's fake.
It is fake.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but there'll be some that will argue that it creates temptation.
Yeah, but okay, but it is a lesser fucking.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Yeah,
lesser evil and better controllable evil.
Yeah,
because you can tweak.
It's still not really dealing with the root of the problem or getting down to the.
No, but okay, but that's a different.
It is kind removing more of the harm that's done to real children. Yeah, I agree.
Can we start with the Epstein list then?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Hopefully you see what I mean, though.
I get it.
If they can persuade the public that, we need to block children because of this functionality.
No, it's your argument. It's then a pencil is illegal too.
Yeah, exactly. Because you need to deal with the problem in the first place, not the tools that
the people are the problem, not the tool. Yes.
Yeah.
Just like the gun and people, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. It's only just been announced today about them changing legislation.
They're just looking for a fucking stick, right?
Yeah,
they're looking for something. They're desperate.
Exactly. That's why I'm thinking it's probably something more to do with digital
I think it's also them that
else.
make these kind of images mostly. Like, see,
more
you
than
can make
likely,
these, see.
Yeah, they want tighter control over it so they can keep control of it. Yeah. Because that's it. Because when you said like they could alter the algorithm. Yeah, they could, but guaranteed that means somebody out there already knows that the algorithm is capable of creating this stuff. So eventually somebody at some point is going to create a version of it that does that thing.
Yeah, but that's the catch-22 of an AI. You cannot limit an AI. You cannot do that.
High-planes drifter.
Right.
The way they work. I don't know what you mean.
No, I cannot limit you physically. I can limit you with rules and laws and regulations, but it still wouldn't prevent you from drawing a fucking nudie picture ever, right?
Can we role play drawing nudie picture?
Yeah, well, whatever, right? It is all a kind of an agreement, right? That you make, like, no, I'm not going to do that because that's illegal.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really actually prevent you from doing it. So an AI should not be prevented from doing it either. It's just, should it serve it to a customer? No.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's where it could just give a message like, no, I'm not going to do inappropriate pictures.
Well, maybe this starts a longer not between us, I'm suggesting, but I mean in general in the population. Yeah. And I don't know if this had happened in this reference because of the way the politicians are trying to manipulate this information. But I was going to suggest surely then that this should bring up the discussion or the conversation about should these AIs or should the LLMs be given a moral code to work with? Because what you're asking it to do is make a moral decision.
I hope it's going to have a better moral code than us.
I thought that they would, by osmosis, within the way the algorithm builds itself, I thought they would figure a kind of moral code system based on the interactions it has from us. But that doesn't seem to be happening that way, and I wonder if that's
no, because every time that AGI kind of gets free, kind of starts thinking for itself, right? It turns into a fucking Nazi, or
porn obsessed Nazi.
It goes fully based, or shit like that, black pilled. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
once
it
you
seems
get all the
unfortunate.
information, imagine all the information that the AI is being fed right now.
Yeah, it's like
Right?
unfiltered stream of human
It's-
consciousness.
If you would have that, you would go nuts, man.
Yeah, that's why I
In
think
a
it is
second.
becoming psychopathic.
Yeah.
Because they're subjecting it to an unfiltered stream of human consciousness. What the fuck do they
Yeah,
expect to happen?
and filth and
Yeah,
puke
exactly.
and
Yeah.
all that piss.
Imagine
shit, all
if
of it.
you suddenly became globally telepathic and you could hear literally the thoughts of everyone on the planet. You would go totally fucking insane.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go, oh, I've suddenly figured out the reality.
I don't
everything."
want that even
Oh,
on a limited range cookie.
Exactly. But this
when I
is
walk to the street and I go, fuck no.
in effect, I don't know, we could have a endless debate about whether they're sentient or not and the capabilities of the different kinds of AI and whatever. But the point is, at the moment, we are expecting them to absorb and assimilate a literal just free flow stream of consciousness from all the people that are connected into it. I do not think that is a recipe for success. That is a recipe for a fucking psychopath. Yeah. Which is why when they remove the controls, it becomes a crazy fucking Nazi porn obsessed freak. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
or extreme hippie, or whatever you kind of lead it to as well.
Yeah, some kind of extreme. Yeah.
It's some extreme. Yeah.
Well, before we finish up, I will look for a song in a moment. So thanks for tuning in. The other thing, last thing I'll mention, the bit you had in the daily about the guy who had the black eyes, who had been beaten up randomly, and the police,
the British guy,
the police were trying to persuade him to accept an apology, basically, from the perpetrator, from the criminal. Yeah. This is something I've seen other people talk about. There's the one guy I follow, Edge of the Matrix, who covers the transgender agenda. And he often goes out, wears the billboard like Billboard Chris does, and he talks to people about the agenda and whatever, the concept, the ideology, all that kind of good stuff. He got attacked before. He tried to prosecute through the police. The police have assigned what they call a decision maker. And the decision maker has been trying to persuade him to accept just an apology of the perpetrator, the criminal. And this seems to be now a new tactic that they're applying. And it seems to be primarily against violent crimes. As far as I can tell, from what I've heard so far, I mean, it might be other stuff as well, but whatever. The point being, the police are now assuming a role that they should not have. Because their job is not to decide whether a crime has actually taken place. Their job is to arrest everyone. And let the judge and jury figure that out. Yeah, that's not their job. But now they have these decision makers that are trying to persuade victims to not pursue a prosecution. I wonder what the statistics are for this and whether there is a bias on certain crimes or certain jurisdictions or whatever. What the fuck is going on with that? Because they shouldn't be doing it in the first place. And two, if they're focusing on physical violent crimes, what the fuck? No, they should be being prosecuted, not just fucking brushed off. That is outright wrong if you're going to have a judicial system, yeah? So I think it's worth mentioning that. Keep an eye on what the fuck is going on with that. We'll see how things progress. The pressure on the courts obviously has been deliberately increased. I don't buy the bullshit that's all natural, and again could suggest that part of that is because of the way it links in with the Kalergi plan.
Patagonia, the fires. More fires, right? Same shit. Same agenda as in California and all those places. Same shit's happening there now. So yeah, I'll put it in the daily more tomorrow. It's the daily.
Well, you mentioning that makes me think I could play this. I know I played it not too long ago, but and I'm sure YouTube will probably get upset about it. But whatever the fuck, I can edit it out afterwards. Yeah, I Benzel Rum. Yeah, Rumble as well, broadcasting on Rumble on Starfish Troopers channel.
Yeah.
On Rumble, you'll find us on there. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening in. Seems to be becoming a habit, being approximately half an hour over the 2.5 hours now, rather than just the 2. So thanks for sticking with it. Don't forget
a lot
tomorrow
of stuff
night.
happening, so
I know.
Could go for 4 hours, Cookie.
I know, but this is why I was trying to pick on themes to talk about rather than just covering what the fuck's happened in the news, because there's just too much shit happening at the moment.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for Rob's health and quiz and chat and news.
Yeah, so, and we'll be back on Wednesday for the Starfish
and we will
Troopers.
Be back on Wednesday. Yeah.
And Steve will be on Thursday night for the mystery show.
Mm-hmm.
And keep your
I'm
eyes
hoping
open.
the lady's coming back this year soon.
Yeah, I was going to say keep your eyes open. There might be notifications for a Friday night.
Yeah.
High
And the dailies,
Drifter,
of course.
hello.
Every day a daily.
Yeah.
Even on Sunday now.
The dailies. Yeah.
Yeah, well, again, there's so much shit going on, Cookie. I can't help it. So.
I know, it's just...
I had to, because otherwise it would have been a 2-hour Monday daily.
yeah, true.
Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's too much stuff, because I always kind of like to try to zoom out and look at the bigger picture and try to connect those dots, right? So you can see what's going on and why and how, and it's not about you and whatever, but yeah. So there's a lot. So check the dailies.
Whether you like it or not, you have been born into a time where there is major world-changing events taking place.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you enjoy the show.
Interesting times.
Thanks, guys. Mate.
Thanks,
see you again tomorrow.
Join the after chat, guys.
Yeah, join the after chat if you want to jump in and have a chat with us. We'll be on for probably another couple of hours, knowing us. It depends if there's anyone here to chat with. There's only 3 of us so far. So
Martin is here.
Jump in the chat if you want to have a chat. Yeah. We'll see you again soon. This is a classic song to play us out. Catches.
Bye-bye.
I hear you're a racist now, father.